can talk. Uh-huh. Oh, no, they're not going to be here for like a couple more hours. Yeah. All right. Yeah, I can do that. Hey, I'm going to have to call you back, man. Guys, the show started.
What?
They're already out there. They're early.
I thought they were supposed to be here like 4.
Somebody do something.
I know.
I'll do my Romeo and Juliet. Go for it.
Romeo, Romeo, wherefore art thou, Romeo? Dead! Never was there a tale of more woe than this of Juliet and her dear Romeo.
No.
What?
Go back. I got it.
I was doing so good.
I know. Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Logan Pace, and on behalf of our company, I'd like to welcome you to today's performance. Today, we are going to attempt for you a feat which we believe to be unprecedented in the history of Auburn University BFA studio training. That is to capture in a single theatrical performance talent, the magic, the genius, and the towering grandeur that is William Shakespeare without starting with a drill speech.
We are amazed, and thus long have we stood to watch
No drill speech.
Always start with the drills.
Not today. William Shakespeare, poet, playwright, actor, philosopher, Stratford's proudest flower, transplanted from the heart of the English countryside to bask in the warmth of London's literary greenhouse.
A man who, despite the ravages of male-patterned baldness, planted the potent seed of his poetical genius in the fertile womb of Elizabeth's England.
There it took root and spread through the lymphatic system of Western civilization until it became the oozing carbuncle of knowledge and understanding that grows even today on the very top of our collective consciousness.
And yet, how much do we, inhabitants of the 21st century, appreciate the plump fruit of Shakespeare's productive lore?
How much?
Let's find out, shall we? I believe I can illustrate our point with a brief poll here among our audience. Now, you're a theater-going crowd, obviously of above-average sensibility, yes. But if I could just have a brief show of hands, how many of you have seen or read any play by William Shakespeare? Any contact with the bard whatsoever? Just raise your... Oh, shit.
Oh, okay. But let's see if we can narrow it down a bit, shall we? How many of you have ever seen or read Much Ado About Nothing?
Well, let's see if we have any super eminent Shakespearean scholars here tonight, huh? Has anybody here ever seen or read Timon of Athens? Timon.
Yes, seen it or read it?
Well, I downloaded it.
Would you mind telling us what it's about?
It's about a hunchback.
No problem. Timon of Athens, as any preeminent Shakespearean scholar can tell you, is about an Athenian named Timon. Would you stand up, please? Ladies and gentlemen, ecce homo.
Hey! Judging by your obvious lack of fluency in Latin, may I presume you have not matriculated?
Well, not today. Isn't that a little personal?
Ladies and gentlemen, look at this man. Abandoned by our educational system, dragged here by his girlfriend, hoping to get extra credit in his English lit class and hopped up on Red Bull. Now look at the people around you. Go on, look at them. Do you see the same lifeless expression? The same pores clogged with the acne of intellectual immaturity? Or perhaps you see, keep looking. Do you see there a longing? A desperate plea for literary salvation?
Can I sit down now?
No! You stand there before us as a living symbol of a society whose capacity to comprehend, much less attain, the genius of A. William Shakespeare has been systematically sodomized by soap operas, renamed by reality shows, and violently violated by women of The View.
Ladies and gentlemen, I say to you, cast off the cheap thrill of the car chase for the splendor of the sonnet. Exchange the isolation of the iPhone for the gentle idols of the iAir.
Turn your phones off.
Imagine a world where many men wear pink tights with pride.
Oh, hallelujah.
Yes, and have no fear, ladies and gentlemen, for we are here as your intellectual and sartorial salvation.
Oh, amen.
We descend among you on a mission from God and the literary muse to spread the holy word of the bard to the masses.
To help you take those first halting steps out of the 21st century quagmire of Facebook, the Kardashians in one direction, and into the future.
A glorious future! A future where this book will be found in every hotel room in the world. Can I get an amen?
Or amen. This is our dream.
dream, ladies and gentlemen, and it begins here tonight. Join us in taking those first steps down the path to the brave new world of intellectual redemption as we proudly prevent
The incomplete works of William Shakespeare.
Abridged.
And may the bard be with us all.
All the world's a stage, and all the men and women merely players. They have their exits and their entrances, and one man in his time plays many parts. How many parts exactly would one man play? According to my computations, there are exactly 1,122 roles in Shakespeare's works. Way too many.
Well, we better get to it then.
and gallop apace like fiery-footed steeds.
Then let us begin by traveling to the complex subtleties of the human condition as explored in Shakespeare's dark and brooding tragedy, Othello, the Moor of Venice.
Speak of me as I am. Let nothing extenuate of a man who loved not wisely, but too well. For never was there a story of more woe than this of Othello and his Desdemona. Oh, Desi!
Cut.
We're sorry about this, folks. It seems that Ian, in his infallibility of the internet, has Googled the word Moor and discovered that it's a place where you tie up boats.
I didn't Google it, I wikied it.
Lose the boats.
I feel like something more.
God, he is so ignorant. So, what's a Moor?
Well, interestingly, this is the subject of blazing scholarly debate. For Elizabethans, Moor can either refer specifically to the Berbers of North Africa or more generally to any person of sub-Saharan African descent.
So Othello's black.
You mean African American?
Didn't the play take place in Italy?
Okay, so he's African Italian.
Can't we just do it in blackface?
Whoa, no! What are you trying to do? Piss off Tessa? No. Sorry, folks, but we have to start elsewhere. I mean, Othello is.
What I'm saying is that we don't really have the attributes required to do justice to the portrayal of Othello. Basically, like,
We're honkies.
is what we are, yes. So, due to circumstances beyond our control,
Yeah.
we're unable to.
Hey! Just because we're white doesn't mean we can't represent the Afro-Italian condition, yo.
Okay.
I got this idea. It's kind of old school, and it's totally boatless. All we need is a beat. It's the story of a brother by the name of Othello. He liked white women and he liked green jello.
Yeah. And the punk named Iago who called himself a menace because he didn't like Othello, the Moor of Venice.
So Othello got married to Desdemona.
He took up with the wars and he left her alone.
He was a Mona.
A grown-up.
He left her alone.
He didn't write a letter and he didn't telephone her.
Jesus Christ.
Come on. Close enough. Desdemona, she was faithful, she was chastity tight, she was the daughter of a duke.
Yeah, she was totally white.
Now Othello loved Desi like Adonis loved Venus.
And does he love Othello because he had a big
sword. He meant to say sword.
Now Iago had a plan that was clever and slick. He was crafty.
He was
He
size.
was sort of a penis.
He say I'm gonna shut them all.
How you gonna do it?
Tell us.
I know his tragic flaws and he's
Too damn jealous.
I need a kind of a schmo.
We find a chump sucker by the name of Cassio.
And he plants on him Desdemona's handkerchief.
Now Othello gets to wondering, just maybe if, while he been out fighting,
commanding an army.
Desi and Cass playing hard the sorry.
so Othello come home and stick a pillow in her face.
Kills her and soliloquizes about his
And
disgrace.
there's Amelia at the door.
Who we men act for?
Who say, yo homie, she wasn't no hoe, she was pure, she was clean, she was virginal too. Then why'd you have to go and make her face turn blue?
It's true.
It's you.
Now what you gonna do?
And Othello say,
Damn. This is getting pretty scary.
So he pulled out his blade and committed Harry Carey.
oh!
Do that funky Moor thing, white boy.
Now Iago got off on a technicality.
Hollywood,
And got his own TV.
Show that is prime time.
HBO,
Desperate houseboat.
Africa.
While we'd like to move next to Shakespeare's comedies, we've discovered that his comedies aren't nearly as funny as his tragedies.
Oh, that's so true. You know what's funny? The Scottish play.
Oh yeah, Macbeth.
Jesus!
Why not?
Because it's cursed. It's bad luck to say that name of the play unless you're performing it.
That's why we call it the Scottish play.
But we are performing it. There's nothing even remotely Scottish about it.
It's all in the performance of it, Chris. You have to see the heather glimping on the highlands, feel the cold breeze wafting up your kilt, and smell the vomit steaming outside the alley in the pub.
Good idea. Kilts, whiskey, vomit! We now present to ye our rendition, perfectly Scottish, of Macbeth.
Double, double, coiling trouble.
Stay, ye imperfect Mac speaker! Mac Talby, Mac Moore.
Macbeth, Macbeth, beware Macduff.
No man born of woman shall harm Macbeth till Burnham would come to dancing, don't you know?
I'll get you my pretties and a little Shetland pony too. Yay!
Oh, that'd be great! Then what Mac I need Macfair of Macduff?
See you, Jimmy! And know that Macduff was from his mother's womb untimely ripped. What do you think about that?
Oh, that's bloody disgusting! Lay on, Haggis Greth!
Oh, Macbeth, you killed me wife. You murdered me wee bairns and you did a poop in me soup.
Oh, I did that!
Oh, you did. I had to pull half of it away.
Oh,
Aye.
oh,
Aye.
oh,
Aye.
oh!
Behold where lies the usurper's cursed head. I know that there was never a story of more blood and death than this of Mr. and Mrs. Macbeth. Thank ye.
Meanwhile, in ancient Rome, Julius Caesar was a much beloved tyrant.
Oh, hail Julius Caesar!
Hail, citizens!
Who was warned by a soothsayer.
Beware the eyes of March.
The great Caesar, however, chose to ignore this warning.
What the hell are the Ides of March?
The 15th of March.
Why, that's today! Oh, et tu cafifi!
Friends, Romans, countrymen, I come to bury Caesar. So bury him and let's get on to my play. Antony!
I'm Cleopatra. Is this an asp I see before me? Come, venomous wretch. Never was there a tale of more woe than this of Tony and his dear Cleo.
What? You seem to have this bizarre notion that all the tragic heroines in Shakespeare vomit on people before they die.
What's an interpretation?
Barfing is not an interpretation.
They were into it.
Chris, Antony and Cleopatra has nothing to do with gastrointestinal distress. It's an exciting transglobal thriller about ancient political maneuvering across the Mediterranean.
Oh, it's one of his transglobal plays? Wow, I love those. Like the one that perfectly predicted 21st century wireless communications.
What?
Yeah, it was called T-Mobile Kinsman.
Oh, Chris, Shakespeare wrote a play called Two Noble Kinsmen.
Not T-Mobile kinsmen.
Two Noble Kinsmen.
No, it is definitely noble because the two kinsmen were Bill Gates and Steve Jobs.
No, the two kinsmen are cousins who fall in love with the same woman.
Oh, and they're like texting each other, like, OMG, you're my BFF, LOL?
No! Don't do that.
Well, that's stupid. I've never even heard of that play.
That's because two noble kinsmen fall into the category of Shakespeare's plays that are neither tragedy, comedy, nor history, and which scholars refer to as the problem plays, or the obscure plays, or the lesser plays, or in some circles, the bad plays. And in fact, not all of the bad plays are without credit. In fact, one of them, Troilus and Cressida, is hardly cracked at all. I actually mention it in my unpublished dissertation about William Shakespeare entitled, I Love My Willie. Oh, you guys would love it. It's big, it's long, it's uncut, and I've been hammering away on it for years. In fact, if you don't mind, I'd like to whip it out for you right now.
No!
Dissertation.
Oh, thank God. What else do you keep in your pants?
Some sandwiches. You want one?
No!
Well, then about my dissertation.
Oh, this is so boring.
He's right. This is the kind of stuff not that kids hate to study in school because it's too boring.
Yeah, like as soon as you said dissertation, I was asleep. No, I'm sorry guys, I promised them that I would not do dry, boring, vomitless Shakespeare.
You don't even know these people.
That's not true. We bonded while I was puking on them, and now I know each and every one of them. There's Kristen, who'd rather be at her own rehearsal right now, and Kaylee, Micah, and Kate, who have a test tomorrow they haven't studied for, and Tiana, who thought she was going to see scenes from Dear Evan Hansen and feels totally ripped off.
What's your point, Chris?
My point is, I love these people. I don't want to see them get turned off to Shakespeare. That's what happened to me. When I was in school and we were supposed to be studying Shakespeare, I'd be looking out the window at the kids playing sports and just wondering, why can't this Shakespeare stuff be more like sports? Sports?
How do you mean?
Sports are exciting, engaging. Take the histories, for example. All those kings rushing up and down the field, the crown passing from one hand to the next. It's exactly like a game, but with thrones.
Oh my God,
Speaking of
season
the
7, the
Jon
dragon.
Snow-
Hey, no spoilers!
What are you guys talking about?
They are kind of similar.
All right, boys. Let's line them up and kick some royal ass. 25, 42, Richard III, Henry IV, Part 1, Part 2,
What?
As the crown is snapped to Richard II by well-spoken 14th century monarch, he's fading back to Bass, he's looking for an air downfield, but he's intermediated by King John, the crown is in the air, and Henry VI comes up with it.
Victory is mine!
But he's hit immediately by King John. Oh, it looks like he's tearing Henry VI into 3 parts.
Oh, that's gotta hurt.
King John is in the clear.
My soul has no motive.
Oh, he's at the 30, the 20. He's poisoned at the 10-yard line. Oh, no. Replacing him now is number 72, King Lear.
to Raven and Goneril, I hand off my kingdom. Cordelia, you go long!
Penalty marker on the field.
Fictional character on the field. Lear is disqualified and he's not happy about it.
Bastards!
Lined up now is that famous father-son pairing of Prince of... Oh, who is that on the field? Oh, that's Prince Hal and Harry the Fourth. Well, he's passed to Richard III. It looks like Hitland is giving him trouble.
Horse! A horse! My kingdom for a horse!
Oh, there's a pile up on the field. Fumble! And Henry VIII comes up with it. He's at the 50, the 10. He's up to the 5-yard line to cut off his wife's head.
Yeah! Who's your daddy now?
And he could go all the way. Oh, Henry VIII is going to win the football game. It's a touchdown to the Red Rose. They're not going to keep them off the field tonight. You gotta believe this is the beginning of a
Tudor dynasty.
Henry V, Richard III, this whole royal family is freaking absurd!
Whoa!
Eagle! Hey! Woo! Go Tigers! Go Tigers! Woo!
Very good.